Working through some more Newton's second law problems. Hopefully you've done the horizontal ones that we started off with, the vertical ones. Now we're going back to horizontal, but this time we're going to take advantage and use the coefficient of friction. Remember, the force of friction is related to the normal by the coefficient of friction. Think of this mu value, it's the slope of the graph. If you think of it as a percent, it's what percent of the normal force the friction force is. It's similar to the ones we did to start off this whole topic of Newton's second law problems, just we have an extra step. We actually have to figure out the force of friction. Okay, starting off, coefficient of friction between the floor and a chair is 0.8. What is the force of friction between the floor and the chair? Force of friction is always mu times Fn. What you're going to learn and what I'll kind of coach you through is whenever you see a mu in a question, whether it asks for it or gives it, the only way you can do anything with the mu is if you know the normal force. Unless the question says anything about something happening vertically, like being in an elevator or something weird happening vertically, then the normal is the same as gravity. That's going to change in grade 12, but for grade 11, a lot of our cases have the normal equal to gravity. I'm going to call it the boring case. And eventually we'll get to better ones, but for starting off, often the normal is equal to gravity, which means the normal is equal to mg. So if we want to know the force of friction is going to be mu times Fn. Fn is the same as gravity. Gravity is mg. So the force of friction turns into mu mg. For this particular question, I made up a 0.8, 2 kilograms, and g is always 9.8. When you calculate that out, that works out to, I got 15.7. What that means is if the chair isn't moving, if you push it with a force of only 15, that's not pushing hard enough to beat friction. The chair won't start moving. If you push it with a force that's bigger than 15.7, like 16 or 17 or whatever number bigger than 15.7, that's bigger enough to beat friction, so that'll get it to move.